I was finally heading home from work, riding my little e-bike right up to my building. Then stop right there. A female officer pulled me over, and get this, she turned out to be my childhood friend I had not seen in years. I did not recognize her at all, so she decided to tease me. Sir, why are you riding without a helmet? Tons of people on this road do not have helmets. Why are you only pulling me over? Because you are unlucky, she said. Her partner nearby heard this and almost gave herself internal injuries trying not to laugh out loud. She desperately wanted to laugh but did not dare make a sound. I just looked up and flashed a professional smile. Look, officer, I will just pay the fine. But she said no need. Just scan this and type in your name and ID. First-timers do not get fined, she warned. But do it again and it is going to cost you. Knowing I did not have to pay made my anger vanish. Good thing I have always been a mostly law-abiding citizen. This was my first time ever getting caught red-handed. Still, officer, are you guys really not off work at 9 p.m.? She just replied, Sir, if you had actually worn your helmet properly, you would not have run into me at all. I literally choked on my words, unable to breathe. After filling out the form, I angrily tossed my phone over to her. Is this good enough? She said I could go, completely ignoring my angry face, which was as black as a charcoal pot. Just as I got on my bike, she stopped me again. What now? Put your helmet on. She pointed at the helmet in my basket, kindly warning me that her colleagues were waiting just around the corner. Talk about a close call. Well, thank you so much, officer. I grabbed the helmet from the basket and messily slapped it onto my head. Then she spoke up again, Sir. There is one more thing. I was already furious from dealing with a bizarre patient tonight, and now I had to take a lecture from this sharp-tongued officer. But since I was the one who broke the law, I swallowed my pride. I stood there silently, forced to listen to her talk. It is best not to wear earphones while riding. Since you did not hear my partner calling you earlier because of those earbuds, you could have faced an extra charge for disobeying orders. I yield. Seriously, I yield. In nearly 30 years of life, I have never met such an incredibly annoying officer. Thanks for the tip, officer, I muttered, yanking out my earbuds and stuffing them in my bag. I slammed the throttle and sped away. Behind me, Jiangwan watched me leave, a tiny smile playing on her lips. Her radio buzzed Captain Jiang. We just got a report of a crash on Yongkang Road. She replied, Got it. Let us move. When I got home, my parents were still up, and I silently began changing my shoes at the entryway. My dad glanced over and noted that Chen was back. Yeah, I muttered, weakly dragging my exhausted self toward my bedroom. Mom jumped up, asking why I looked so awful. Was the hospital too busy? Do you want me to cook something? I am fine, I said, still completely obsessed and annoyed with that devilish female cop from earlier. My mood was ruined. I told them I just ran into a massive idiot. But wait, look how my parents react here. They told me not to leave yet. Sit down, they insisted. We have something to tell you. What is it? Have some fruit first, my mom offered. Let us talk while we eat. Do you remember your dad's old classmate, Uncle Jiang, and his family from when you were little? You mean the family with little Bean Bun who used to play with me at our old place? Mom asked. What Bean Bun? You gave her that nickname, Dad, because she was so white and chubby, just like a little steamed bean bun. Dad said she is very impressive now, but I was not buying it. My memories of her were totally frozen in the past. I still pictured that chubby little girl who looked like a round cartoon doll. Jiangwen used to follow me everywhere, calling me Big Brother. But when our old neighborhood got demolished, our families drifted apart. Our parents kept in touch, but I did not even have a phone back then and was buried in my medical studies. So I slowly lost contact with Jiangwan. Come to think of it, we have not seen each other in over 10 years. I completely forgot what she even looks like. But Mom chimed in, Chen, Jiangwan is absolutely gorgeous now. Just imagine. Her mother used to be a model, so those genes are top tier. I just rolled my eyes. After dealing with that sharp-tongued officer tonight, I had zero interest in beautiful women, but a key piece of information suddenly caught my attention. Dad, did you say little Bean Bun is a cop? Yes, she has the exact same stubborn temper as you do, giving up her wealthy family lifestyle just to do such exhausting, dangerous work. I did not want my dad lecturing me about my own career choices, so I quickly asked, are we having dinner with them soon? No way, she says. I am on the day shift tomorrow, so I have to go straight to the restaurant right after work. Apparently, Uncle Jiang just got transferred back to Fuyuan from out of town, and they are planning to settle down here for good. That is why my dad wanted our families to meet up. Honestly, I did not really have any objections to it. I was just pretty curious to see what Jiang Wan looks like now, especially since my parents were praising her to the absolute heavens. So I promised to try and get off work early. I tell my parents not to rush me because I am just too exhausted. I head off to bed to get some rest. The next morning, Before my shift starts, I rush over to the dealership to pick up my beloved car. After a quick tune-up, my Audi was looking completely brand new. I blast the stereo, happily singing along as I cruise down the road. No more struggling with shared rental bikes, and definitely no more getting busted by the annoying traffic police. Honestly, it is just pure bliss. I secretly swear to myself that I will always follow the rules and take amazing care of my ride. Once I park, I cannot even keep my hands off the thing, literally petting the door of my gorgeous machine. Look at this, all of this gets seen by none other than Jiang Wan. She is busy bringing a drunk driver to the hospital for a checkup. She is in a massive rush, but my shiny blue car stands out like crazy among the sea of black sedans. It is just way too flashy. With the sun glinting off the metal, she cannot help but stare as I lock up and casually stroll into the building humming a happy tune. Jiang Wan chuckles softly, making Zhu Sheng look around in confusion, asking what she is staring at, but she just tells him it is nothing. She tells him to hurry, and Zhu Sheng quickly nods, though she still throws one last glance in my direction. Looking over, the sign clearly displays the emergency department, making her realize that I am actually an emergency room doctor now. Zhu Sheng pipes up, asking Captain Jiang why her eyes keep wandering around so much today. As Zhu Sheng keeps muttering, she snaps at him to shut up during work hours. Together, they escort the suspect through his medical tests. The sobriety test results are printed fast. Jiang Wan stamps the medical form and hands the paperwork over to the other officers on duty. With the paperwork finally sorted, their shift is officially over, and Jiang Wan steps right into the waiting elevator. Right as the doors start to slide shut, a panicked voice echoes out, telling her to hold the elevator. Hearing the desperate cry, Jiang Wan quickly hits the door open button. She sees me running toward her in a white coat, clutching a massive pile of medical supplies. I squeeze inside, thanking her while gasping for air. I look up to thank this helpful stranger, only to freeze. Why is it her? I awkwardly ask if she is here to see a doctor. Jiang Wan slowly rolls her eyes away from me, choosing to stare at the glowing elevator floor numbers instead. She asks if I have ever seen a patient wearing a full police uniform. I shake my head, then quickly blurt out that I get it now. She must have gotten hurt chasing a bad guy, but she just deadpans that she is a traffic cop, not some action movie detective. Immediately, I realize how incredibly dumb I sound, wishing the ground would swallow me whole. Why am I even trying to chat with this smug officer? Maybe my head got caught in a door. I apologize, joking that my brain is still asleep because I woke up way too fast. She shrugs, saying confusing her is fine. Just do not go misdiagnosing your patients. How dare she question my skills as a doctor? But before I can snap back, the elevator dings, saving her as we hit the ground floor. I am left speechless as she walks out, casually telling me my car looks pretty cool and to remember to follow the traffic rules. Wait, what does that mean? It hits me she saw me earlier and is totally mocking me. I stand there gritting my teeth, watching her walk away. Big deal if she is an officer. I am still a law-abiding citizen. Sure, she got me once, but there is no way she is ever catching me a second time. Just she wait. If she ever ends up in my emergency room while on duty, oh, I will absolutely make sure to give her a very warm welcome. After leaving the hospital, Jiang Wan drives back to the station with Zhu Sheng. Zhu Sheng looks like he is dying to ask something but keeps hesitating until she barks at him to spit it out, making him jump. He nervously asks if there is actually something going on between her and that handsome doctor she pulled over just yesterday. He is definitely the exact same guy from the elevator just now, right? With his cop instincts, there is absolutely no way he is wrong, especially since the guy is so ridiculously good-looking. He scoffs, asking if she is trying to fool a 3-year-old, since the doctor clearly did not even recognize her. He teases her, asking if she fell in love at first sight, before screaming about the red light ahead. Jiang Wan slams on the brakes and shoots Zhu Sheng a lethal glare, scaring him so badly that he immediately shrinks back against the window. It's been years since we last met, so it's pretty normal that he doesn't recognize me, right? Then how did you spot him so fast? Jiang Wan, you definitely have a hidden motive here. You're trying to psychoanalyze me now, kid. No way, I wouldn't dare. If you don't want to talk about it, just forget I asked. It was just a casual question anyway. There's nothing to hide, Jiang Wan says, her cheeks flushing slightly as she admits she actually likes him. Wait, what the heck? The workaholic Captain Jiang Wan actually has a crush? I tease her, asking if she's going to silence me now that I know her massive secret. If I knew this gossip was going to be this juicy, I would have mentally prepared myself first. Is that really how you see me? She asks. And I quickly reply that she's definitely the star role model of our entire police squad. All right, you got your answers, she laughs. Now get back to the station and work hard. Mission accepted, Captain. After work that evening, I drove over early, heading to the exact restaurant location my mom texted me. As the waiter leads me to our private dining room, a shockingly familiar figure suddenly flashes past just a few feet ahead of me. Rubbing my eyes, I try to double-check. Why on earth does that woman look exactly like that tough police officer? I'm totally baffled here. Seriously, what kind of bad luck is this? Why do I keep running into her literally everywhere I go these past 2 days? And then, the ultimate plot twist. I watch her walk straight into room 208, and my footsteps instantly freeze. The waiter asks if I'm okay. Gulping hard, I nervously ask if they only have one room 208 here. He confirms there's only this single room with no separate zones. At this point, I'm completely dumbfounded. Standing right outside the door, I desperately try to comfort myself. Maybe my eyes played tricks on me. Maybe she's just Uncle Jiang's relative. Pushing the door open, I scan the 5 people sitting inside. Along with my parents and Uncle and Auntie Jiang. There she is, that exact young woman. Sorry I'm late, Uncle, Auntie, I say, greeting everyone except Jiang Wan. They insist I'm right on time. Come sit down, they say. We know you two are swamped with work, so getting together for a meal like this is pretty rare. Looking around, I realize the only open chair is right next to Jiang Wan. With no other option, I bite the bullet and sit down beside her. My mom smiles warmly and introduces her, asking if I really don't recognize Jiang Wan anymore. Uncle Jiang smiles and proudly chimes in, saying how Jiang Wan has truly grown into a gorgeous young woman. She looks completely different now, but He-chan has always had that same sharp look since he was a little kid. Honestly, I don't hear a word of their chatter. I only process one massive piece of information. This woman sitting right next to me is Jiang Wan, my childhood best friend who vanished from my life after middle school. Taking a deep breath, I realize she's my old little bean bun. Jiang Wan finally looks up, a subtle smirk on her lips. It's been a while, Chen, she says, making my heart skip a beat. I stare blankly, realizing she looks just like that night. Still incredibly beautiful, though wearing a dress today definitely makes her seem a whole lot gentler than usual. This is way more than just a big change. Did she literally possess the body of that chubby little kid I used to know? Honestly, if she hadn't spoken up, I wouldn't have recognized her as Jiang Wan even if you threatened to beat me to death. Teasing me, my mom asks why I'm staring like a total idiot, laughing that she didn't lie about Jiang Wan getting incredibly beautiful as she grew up. So awkward. While the elders are busy pouring drinks, I whisper to her, asking if she's really my little bean bun, 100% genuine. That day on the road, you already recognized me when you pulled me over, didn't you? She admits she knew the whole time, so she really targeted me on purpose, even while calling me completely unlucky. You even trash-talked my driving. That's way too much, considering I'm technically your older brother. You never dared treat me like this when we were kids. She scoffs that He-chan is only a few minutes older, but I quickly snap back that those few minutes still count. Come on, call me big brother. I've finally found a way to tease Jiang Wan and hold something over her. Smiling, she simply pours me a fresh glass of juice. Drink some peach juice and shut up, she mutters. Man, this grown-up little bean bun isn't nearly as sweet as she used to be. What should I do? I seriously want to reach over and pinch her soft cheeks. Right then, my dad notices us whispering nonstop. He asks what we are gossiping about, so Jiang Wan politely chimes in, telling him we are just reminiscing about our childhood days. Back in the old courtyard, Jiang Wan and Chen always used to play together the absolute best. Back then, literally everyone said their personalities matched up perfectly. Chen was always causing massive trouble, but gentle Jiang Wan was somehow the only person who could ever keep him in check. She was just so incredibly soft and chubby back then. I mumble that she's not nearly as cute anymore, making Jiang Wan shoot me a sharp, delicate glare. Auntie Jiang gently scolds me, revealing that after our families relocated and separated, Jiang Wan constantly talked about how much she deeply missed Chen. Is that right, sweetie? Jiang Wan openly admitted to it. Yeah, brother Chen always protected me back then. It is impossible to forget. I was quietly sipping my peach juice, but when she called me Chen, I nearly coughed it all up. She immediately asked if I was choking, teasing me for being just as clumsy as a kid. Everyone at the table burst out laughing at our silly bickering. As the dishes arrived, I looked across the table and was completely shocked to see they were all my favorites. Uncle Jiang took charge as the host, urging everyone to dig in and telling me to try a dish. He said he remembered I loved these as a kid. I thanked him, picking up a golden shrimp ball for a bite. I praised his amazing food choices, and he happily told me to eat as much as I liked. Uncle Jiang looked at me with warm approval, telling Jiang Wan to eat too. While our parents chatted, I prepared to catch up with her myself, but she actually beat me to it. She asked how I became a doctor, reminding me that as kids, my dream was to be a superstar. I could only blink, wondering if I really said that. Apparently, I insisted on playing the prince in our play. Worse, she says I forced her to play the princess. I let out a weak laugh, begging her to stop digging up my cringe childhood past. I was just a dumb kid talking nonsense back then. Now, I am literally out here saving lives. I told her not to look down on me. She laughed, admitting my skills must be good since the ER demands constant, split-second decisions. Then she added that brother Ah Chen is incredibly outstanding. That one compliment completely fried my brain. Inside, I was absolutely thrilled, but I kept my face totally blank, joking that she better stay out of my ER if she knew what was good for her. I joked about taking personal revenge. She simply smiled, saying she knew I would never do that to her. Amid all the talking, she noticed I was still eyeing the braised pork ribs. Suddenly, a piece landed right on my plate. I asked if she poisoned it, making Jiang Wan's face immediately puff up with cute annoyance. She said yes, so I stuffed it in. I was enjoying the food when Auntie Jiang suddenly piped up, asking if I had a girlfriend yet. I explained that my busy schedule at the hospital keeps me from even thinking about dating, and she nodded in understanding. She remarked that young people focus on work now, adding that Jiang Wan had never even dated. Wait, never dated? I was completely stunned. With her great looks, wealthy family, and amazing career, how could she still be single? I couldn't help but look at Jiang Wan again. That cute bean bun nickname didn't fit her at all. She had completely outgrown that silly name, and honestly, her gorgeous features could no longer be compared to any food. Our parents kept gushing about how well we still got along after all these years of being apart. When they asked what my ideal type was, I realized I had never even thought about it. I just said a good person would be nice. I obviously couldn't confess my real preference, or sweet voices, unless I wanted to sound like a total creep. Suddenly, Uncle Jiang cleared his throat and smiled. He told me not to be fooled by her quiet nature, promising that deep down she is an incredibly warm person. Catching my teasing smirk, Jiang Wan helplessly called out to her dad. He turned to my dad, declaring that if we actually got married, they would treat me like absolute royalty. They would literally give me the moon. My dad laughed, saying marriage was entirely up to the kids, not him. He admitted he would love nothing more than to have Jiang Wan join our family, but it was our choice. Instantly, 4 pairs of eyes locked right onto me and Jiang Wan. Look at this trap closing in on us. I was completely dumbfounded. How did a casual dinner turn into a matchmaking setup? Even my parents looked incredibly pleased with Jiang Wan. What the hell? Were they seriously expecting us to have a flash marriage right then and there? This dinner was totally not normal. This was a complete ambush. I pleaded with my parents, telling them they were being way too hasty. Uncle Jiang told me not to take it too seriously, adding that Jiang Wan and I should just go with the flow of things. He suggested our families just visit each other more often, to keep things comfortable and natural for everyone. I promised to visit Jiang Wan often. Seeing that I was perfectly fine with it, everyone relaxed, and we soon finished our dinner. Since I was the only sober one who drove, my dad told me to take Jiang Wan home safely after her drinks. I was worried about her driving home alone, but my dad just winked, so I stopped arguing. Hey, uncle and auntie, do you live with Jiang Wan? Let me drive you home too. Oh, we do not live with her. She just bought a downtown high-rise recently. It is a beautiful high-rise with an incredible view. Chen, you should drive her home. Your uncle and I are going to take a nice stroll. Nice and cool night air. Through all of this, Jiang Wan stood quietly beside me until I opened the door. She asked if she could ride in the passenger seat. Of course she could, since it was not reserved for a girlfriend anyway. As Jiang Wan got in, she teased that if she became my girlfriend, she could sit there with peace of mind. I stayed silent. I just gave her a deep, mysterious look, but for some reason, I immediately ruined the mood myself. With a literal police captain sitting right next to me, I felt just as incredibly nervous as during my actual driving test. Is this a road test? She teased. I told her not to look down on me. I passed everything first try. She smirked, asking why I put on my right blinker when I clearly wanted to turn left. Good grief, why do I always embarrass myself in front of Jiang Wan? I lied that my hand slipped, then quickly asked where she lived. She said it was Jin Shang Courtyard across the river. I nodded as a heavy silence fell between us again. Even while focusing on the road, I could easily smell her scent, a sweet mix of light alcohol and a very faint perfume. Honestly, who could blame me for stealing glances? I turned on some music to break the awkward silence, since Jiang Wan seemed quite tired. She curled up deeply into the passenger seat as a gentle melody played. That was when I heard her softly humming right beside me. My heart skipped a beat. Jiang Wan already had a gorgeous voice, but her slightly tipsy tone added an incredibly beautiful, magnetic vibe. Mixed with the music, It made my heart race uncontrollably. My hands gripped the steering wheel tight as I scolded myself. Chen, seriously, you cannot be falling for her this quickly. I was a total sucker for a pretty face, which Jiang Wan immediately noticed at the next red light. I quickly shook my head and patted my cheeks, making Jiang Wan break out into a soft, beautiful laugh. Her laughter put me on high alert. I asked what was so funny, and she smiled, saying it was nothing. I let out a quiet sigh. Thank goodness she was not mocking me. A few minutes later, we pulled into her residential complex. She pointed to Building 5 at the end. Following her exact directions, I managed to use my turn signals correctly and parked smoothly right in front of her place. Why did the music suddenly feel so empty? Was it because Jiang Wan stopped humming? No, stop it. She is basically like a little sister to me, my cute little childhood bean bun. I should not cross that line. I told her that my mission was officially complete now that Captain Jiang was safely back home. Jiang Wan stared at me for a long time, making no effort to open the car door. I just blinked, totally confused. I asked why she was not getting out. She softly called my name, saying it might sound incredibly sudden for her to ask. And trust me, my sixth sense was screaming that Jiang Wan was about to drop an absolute bombshell. Sure enough, she looked up, drawing me right into her clear eyes as she asked if I wanted to get married. Get married? That single question completely fried my entire brain. I stared in absolute disbelief, trying to stay cool while blushing like crazy. Swallowing hard, I told her I only saw her as a little sister. Even though she had grown incredibly beautiful, I simply could not process such a massive, sudden jump in our relationship. Hearing me call her a sister made Jiang Wan look incredibly hurt and slighted. Ever since she was little, she had absolutely hated the age gap between herself and Chen. She remembered only being allowed to call him Big Brother before they parted. It was not that she hated the title, she just wanted to be more than that. Honestly, she and I were basically total frenemies when we were kids. We were childhood sweethearts, but now she was not satisfied with just that. She reminded me how she used to tease me back then. I teased her, asking if she actually liked her big brother now. She shot back, asking if that even mattered. When she said the word brother, shivers went straight down my spine and my ears turned bright red. I asked if she was drunk, but she insisted she was completely sober. 2 glasses could never knock her out during our reunion dinner. She would never let herself get drunk tonight, even though we had not seen each other in over 10 years. I reminded her of my temper and how I teased her daily. I asked if she really thought I had grown into some mature gentleman. She just shrugged. What was wrong with her? Could she seriously not understand my obvious hint? I told her she did not have to treat our parents' dinner jokes as a mission. Surely she did not want an immature husband. Hey Chen, remember my job? Is this seriously the time to talk about work? Besides, she literally pulled me over for my helmet and insulted my driving. How could I ever forget that? Ah, yes. I definitely remember our favorite neighborhood officer. What is she best at? Solving problems for the public, obviously. Everyone knows you call the police when you get into a real mess. Why would she ask that? Wait a second, did she just trap me? No, I simply pointed out her biggest strength. Wow. Devious. People really do change when they grow up. Look, Chen, I do not mind marrying a guy who constantly causes trouble. Besides, back when we played house as kids, you were always the dad and I was the mom. Well, we were literally the only 2 kids our age in the entire neighborhood. We even had to use the 2 dogs at the gate to play our children. Plus, you promised if I never found a husband, we would just get married. Can I please take that back? Back then, Jiang Wan was just this incredibly adorable, chubby kid. Rejected. I simply worried she would stay chubby and get rejected by other guys. But looking at her gorgeous self now, how does she have the nerve to say no one will marry her? Wait, here is where his mind starts playing tricks. Marrying Jiang Wan actually began to sound like a pretty sweet deal. My parents absolutely loved Jiang Wan, meaning 0 annoying blind dates for me. Most importantly, Jiang Wan was exactly my type of beautiful. We really did seem like a perfect match. So I blurted out, hey, do you have Saturday off? Okay, that was a pretty fast subject change. I have overtime on Saturday, so I probably won't be free. What about Sunday? Sunday, I am completely free. Jiang Wan pulled her hand back, creating some distance as she asked my plans. I kept it vague and told her to head inside, promising to find her on Sunday. She let out a soft, barely audible sigh. All right, I'm heading out now. But just as she reached for the car door, she suddenly turned back around. Chen, let's exchange numbers. Sure, let me know when you get inside. Stay safe. I hit the gas and drove away, but I could not resist stealing one last glance in my rearview mirror. Her slender figure stood there watching my car disappear, her silhouette slowly fading into the soft moonlight. I walked in to see my mother waiting on the couch. Chen, What took you so long? Did you and Jiangwan go out somewhere? No. We just talked downstairs near her apartment for a bit. What did you talk about? Was it good? Yeah, it was pretty great. Mom, Dad, do you guys truly approve of Jiangwan? Wait, does our opinion even matter to you? My dad took a sip of water and said, Look, you are an adult who avoids dating, so we are just offering advice. Done. My mind was completely made up. I hesitated at first, but since I did not have anyone else in mind, being around Jiangwan actually gave me a real spark. And then, out of absolutely nowhere, he drops the ultimate bombshell. He tells his parents he is getting married this Sunday, leaving them completely stunned. Does it have to be this fast? Well, his temperature is totally normal, no fever. Look, we want you to date, but you do not need to skip straight to the finish line. Mom, Dad, just hear me out. I am a doctor and she is a cop. We are both insanely busy, so where would we find time to date? Flash marriages are common now. Let us just follow the trend, get married, and be done. Besides, this is not just my solo plan. Jiangwan is easily 80% on board. Once we are living together, feelings will grow. Plus, this solves the huge problem weighing on your minds. A complete win-win. Plus, I truly realized marrying Jiangwan was highly beneficial for absolutely everyone. Fine. My dad was dizzy from my logic and ultimately agreed that flash marriages are actually normal for young couples. Besides, he really did adore Jiangwan. The household register is in the TV cabinet. My dad gestured with his eyes, adding, You are a grown man now. Your mother and I will not interfere. Parents can only guide you to the right person, but you have to walk this path yourself. Understood? Do not worry, I am heading to bed now. You guys rest up. On Saturday night, Jiangwan had barely stepped inside when my text popped up. Are you off work yet? Just got home and eating right now. How about you? I had some unexpected overtime today. Still at the hospital. Jiangwan paused her chopsticks, asking if I had eaten yet. Just instant noodles. But that did not matter. I straight up texted her asking to marry me. After that, Jiangwan never replied. I stared at my screen, trying to burn a hole through it. What was up with Jiangwan? Ghosting me at a crucial moment like this, did she change her mind? Or was it all a joke? 10 agonizing minutes without a reply. Honestly, I could not even sit still anymore. Did she block me? Panicking, I opened her money transfer page to check if we were still connected. Thank goodness, she had not deleted me. Maybe she was just busy, but before I knew it, a whole hour had slipped by. My relief doctor arrived, and I checked my phone again. Still absolutely nothing. Was it too late to unsend that text? Why did I feel like I was desperately forcing her to marry me? Then come in. I looked up and saw Jiangwan walking through the door. Why was she here? I thought she was ignoring me. What was she doing in the emergency room? She asked if she was holding up my shift, but I shook my head. I was just about to leave anyway. I wanted to ask why she ignored my text, but the words caught in my throat. Jiangwan walked up to my desk and set down an insulated lunch box. She called my name. She said she did not ignore me on purpose. A question like that deserved to be answered in person. She had cooked some food and rushed straight over. Then she casually suggested we get our marriage certificate tomorrow. Jiangwan gave a gentle smile. Suddenly, my heart started pounding wildly again. I told her to take a seat. I asked if she was still mad, joking that I would never hold a grudge against a younger girl. Since I am older, I told her I had to act like a proper older brother. No matter what, as long as we got married, we would have plenty of time. What did you cook, Juan? It smelled incredible compared to my sad instant noodles. Honestly, they were not even on the same level. The beef was incredibly tender and coated in sauce, absolute heaven with rice. She offered to feed me, but I refused. Jiangwan glanced around the office, spotting my half-eaten cup of instant noodles tossed carelessly in the trash. She told me to stop eating junk, but I explained how busy I was. Did she really cook this amazing meal? It was delicious. She promised to cook for me every single day once we finally moved in together. She even offered to deliver meals to the hospital, but I did not want to put her through all that trouble. She is way busier than me. I asked if she wanted a ride home, but she said she drove and was totally fine. We had a big day tomorrow, but she offered to drive right behind me to make sure I got home safe. Did she really think my driving was that bad? Was she expecting me to hit a tree so she could rescue me? That logic made zero sense. We walked out of the hospital, deep in our own thoughts, and got into our separate cars. By now, the city streets were quiet, with barely any other cars around us. We drove in a perfect line, keeping our distance. 20 minutes later, we pulled into my apartment complex and parked. She shut off her engine, saying she still had to head back to the station. She promised to meet me downstairs tomorrow morning without taking no for an answer, telling me to dress up a little. She did not want an ugly photo on our certificate. I agreed, then asked if she was absolutely sure about this. I told her she could still back out, but she smiled, saying she always carefully considered every choice in her life. Plus, she thought childhood sweethearts suddenly getting married was actually a pretty cool thing. It really is. But look at this, her sweet face instantly turned into a hilariously angry pout. Classic bean bun. I could not resist pinching her cheek before quickly running away. Jiang Wan just laughed as I ran. The next morning, she arrived outside my building incredibly early. Walking downstairs, I spotted her standing quietly under the shade of a tree, watching the main entrance. I asked if she had been waiting long, but she just smiled and asked if I brought my paperwork. She joked about me running away, but I admitted I was just worried she would change her mind. Marrying her was a total win-win. There was absolutely nothing left for me to stress about. Our drive was smooth, and we soon pulled up to the registry office. I asked if she was nervous. A bit nervous, but mostly excited, she took the forms from the staff. I immediately scribbled my name down with a flourish. Then I looked at Jiang Wan. She was writing with extreme care. With the signatures done, we headed over for the photo. I tried to scoot closer to Jiang Wan, though I still hesitated a bit. "Why sit so far away?" she asked. "Are you unhappy with me, or just not close?" I stammered that I was just not used to this yet. Jiang Wan easily saw right through my awkwardness and took the initiative to wrap her arm right through mine. My breath hitched. "Hold the pose," the photographer yelled. "Smile and think of something happy." Happy thoughts. None came to mind because work was completely occupying my brain. The photographer nudged me to learn from my new wife. "Just look at how naturally she smiles," he said. "Let's take one more shot." If she wasn't signing this marriage certificate with me, I'd swear she just won $5 million. I braced up, copied her expression, and pasted on the exact same smile. The camera flashed. We finally froze in the moment we looked the most perfect together. Seeing us together like that, we really did look highly compatible. Holding the official marriage certificates in my hands, reality finally started sinking in. "Get in the car," I said. "Let's get some real food." Then I teased her, asking how it felt on her very first day as a newlywed. Jiang Wan paused to think. Gently, she took my hand and pressed it right against her cheek, which felt quite warm to the touch. My mood is exactly this warm. Sitting there, you can see how dazed I was. Did Jiang Wan just flirt with me? She smirked, teasing that if I kept staring at her like that, she would think I wanted to eat her. A call came in. "Hello, Captain Jiang. Some urgent business popped up at the station and we need you back for an emergency meeting." "Got it. I'm on my way." I told her to handle her work while I went back home to have dinner with my parents instead. She apologized for the sudden shift, but I told her it was fine, since I pull crazy overtime hours too, leaving us in the same boat. The second I stepped inside my house, a text popped up from Jiang Wan, telling me to start packing my bags immediately. She said she would collect me right after her meeting. My mom looked surprised to see me, asking why I was back so early. When she asked where Jiang Wan was, I explained she had an urgent case, then proudly handed over our marriage certificate to her. "Tell Dad you two can finally relax," I said. Mom immediately yelled for old he to come quickly and look at his son's beautiful wedding photo. She kept saying Jiang Wan and I were a match made in heaven. Dad leaned in, adjusting his glasses to see us clearly. He grumbled that compared to when we were young, this falls a little short, though it is still quite good. Complimenting me even once seems impossible for my dad. Mom then asked if I was moving out tonight. I joked that if they couldn't bear to lose me, I didn't have to move, especially since Jiang Wan probably didn't care. Mom called it pure nonsense. "You can't live apart after getting married," she scolded, warning me that we couldn't keep acting like we were still kids. "No bullying her like you used to," she warned. I laughed, pointing out she was a police officer, so how could I ever bully her? As I headed upstairs to pack, Mom stopped me, saying she and Dad had already packed up every single thing I needed. They got the essentials ready, leaving the bigger household items for Jiang Wan and me to shop for together later on. "Are you really in that much of a hurry to kick me out? Seriously? I just got married, so is this actually necessary?" "Stop acting dramatic," she said. "Your new apartment is only a few kilometers away, so you can easily come visit us every single day. Just make sure you bring my new daughter-in-law with you every time," she added. I promised to head out the moment she finished her shift. Mom then patted my shoulder with a very warm, earnest smile. "Chen, even if this was a sudden flash marriage, Jiang Wan is officially your wife now. You both need to learn to support and understand each other to build a proper home. You already know Jiang Wan is a great person, so you are in good hands, but real love still takes time to grow between you two." Her advice went in one ear and out the other. Honestly, do you ever get that feeling where the future feels totally uncertain? The moment Jiang Wan walked into the meeting room, everyone instantly froze in complete silence. They wondered why she looked so incredibly pretty today, whispering about a secret date, but Jiangwan paid absolutely zero attention to their staring faces. She simply opened up her case files and immediately got the meeting started. It was a quick briefing, mostly covering new directives from head office and assigning tasks for the upcoming week. Once the final tasks were set, she closed her folder and stood up, thanking them all for coming into work over the weekend. Meeting adjourned. Suddenly, everyone's phones buzzed at once as Jiangwan dropped a digital red envelope into the group chat. They asked if this red envelope was actually for them to claim, and she told them to go ahead. There was plenty for everyone. Having worked together for years, nobody held back, but they instantly wondered what the special occasion was. "Did you strike it rich?" they joked. She casually replied that she got married and wanted everyone to join the celebration. "Ah, no wonder Captain Jiang got all dressed up today. I had no idea she even had a boyfriend. She rejected every single blind date we set up. Congratulations, Captain Jiang. So, when is the big wedding dinner? We can discuss that later." "Wait, you did a flash marriage? Jiangwan, you got hitched and kept me in the dark. Did I not just notify you? Are they really the same as me? After all, we are supposed to be ride or die sisters here. Fine. When the big day comes, I will reserve a special VIP table just for you. Do I actually know him?" "You do. Who is he?" "Oh, that handsome doctor from the elevator the other day. You're pretty incredible boss, right? Seriously, how did you make him fall for you in just 2 days? You want to know?" "Yes, please. I am 26 already." Jiangwan motions for her to come closer, and she eagerly leans in to catch the secret. But then she just gets in her car and speeds off. "Are we even real friends? You are the captain, yet you hide this." When she arrived to pick me up, my family even invited Jiangwan upstairs for a quick dinner. After eating, I grab my bags and head home with Jiangwan. She asks if I am tired and offers to help. I was just about to say something when I noticed the matching slippers on her feet, except hers had cute little kittens. I never would have guessed she liked that childish style. Brushing it off, I look around the place, feeling pretty awkward. "So, are we sharing a bed?" "What? Did you want us to sleep apart? It is completely legal now, you know." Jiangwan looks down, trying hard to hide her smile, and guides me straight into the bedroom. Well, it technically is legal. I follow her in silence, my mind racing, thinking that sharing a bed might not actually be that bad. Worst case scenario, we just split the bed right down the middle. She is just a regular girl, what could she actually do to me? I quickly steady her arm. Just look at how tense and quiet the mood suddenly gets between us. My chest is pounding, and that sweet scent of hers is completely overwhelming. Are we really about to share a room? A sudden rush of heat hits my face. Trying to change the subject, I ask what kind of nice perfume she has on. Jiangwan laughs softly. She leans in a little closer, and the fragrance gets even stronger. "It is Fifth Avenue," she says. Then, she steps back and opens the door. "You can sleep in the master bedroom, while I take the smaller guest room." With that, she heads over to her own room. I take a deep breath and finally look inside the master bedroom. The room has this really warm, cozy vibe. Brand new sheets and a shelf stocked with all my favorite books. Did she really set all of this up just for me? She mentions going to the mall and buying things she knew I would enjoy. "Thank you, I really love it. But did you buy this teddy bear too?" Apparently, it looks like her as a little kid. A cute, chubby little thing. She offers to help me unpack, so we sit on the floor with our bags. The moment Jiangwan unzips the suitcase, my clothes practically explode right out of it. We are both totally shocked. I look down and freeze. Yep, that is exactly what you think it is. Talk about an awkward moment. Why on earth did my mother pack my underwear right at the top of the pile? She is totally trying to ruin me. Even the incredibly calm Jiangwan is left speechless here. She gently suggests that I should organize my things first. She says she will wait outside until I finish. I desperately tell her to head out first. Right now, I literally just want to dig a deep hole in the floor and disappear forever. Jiangwan does not say another word. She quickly gets up and leaves, gently closing the bedroom door behind her. Outside, Jiangwan rushes to her room, leans against the door, and slides down. She is just repeating, "Thank goodness." She is relieved she did not slip up in front of Chen. Meanwhile, unpacking my clothes takes me a full 2 hours. Completely wiped out, both physically and mentally, I collapse backward onto the brand new sheets and check my phone to see it is past 5. I worked up a serious sweat unpacking all those bags just now, so I really need a shower. My room is directly across from hers. Her door is wide open, but she is nowhere to be found. Did she head back to work? Why is it so quiet? I throw my laundry into the machine, not worrying too much about where Jiangwan might have run off to. I just step into the bathroom for a quick shower. Seriously, Jiangwan's apartment is incredibly huge. Even though I have not had time to inspect everything closely, This massive apartment has to be at least 2,000 square feet. It even has a giant round bathtub. Curiously, I look over the neat storage rack. Shower gels, luxury bath bombs, shampoo, and a whole complicated array of bottles are neatly lined up. Girls have so much stuff. Surely these count as shared household items. Jiang Wan would not get mad if I borrow some, right? No wonder she always smells so good. The bath salts smell amazing. Or maybe I'm just exhausted from the move. But as I soaked, I ended up leaning back and drifting off. Meanwhile, Jiang Wan was still waiting for me to finish unpacking. Realizing I was dead silent, she headed over to check on me. The bathroom light was still shining, but there wasn't any sound of running water inside. Chen, her eyelids started to twitch. Did this guy seriously pass out in the tub? She had to pound on the door. Walking straight in felt too bold, but she honestly worried I would catch a cold staying in there. Luckily, I wake up easily. Shivering in the freezing water, I called out, Chen here. I'm totally fine. What's going on out there? She sighed, good. As long as you're okay. I was genuinely worried you'd catch a cold in there. After a brief pause, she added that blue towel hanging up is brand new, so go ahead and use it. I told her I got it. She warned me not to soak so long next time, so I nodded and asked what she'd been up to while I was out. I told her I couldn't find her, so she said she was reading in the study and told me to sit. Without even asking what she wanted, I just shuffled over and sat right across from her. Jiang Wan grabbed a hairdryer and immediately started working on my wet head. I offered to do it myself, but she completely ignored me. She teased that I was too lazy to dry it myself. And honestly, you have to admit she completely called me out. But since she called me out, I simply leaned back, enjoying the quiet moment with peace of mind. Enjoying this 5-star treatment from Captain Jiang, I eventually stood up and checked the mirror. Honestly, her skills weren't half bad. She joked that since she married a giant child, she had to learn how to do literally everything. I reminded her that I gave a fair warning before the wedding, making her laugh as she playfully patted my head. Staying quiet, I asked to look around the place. She agreed, telling me we could swap out any furniture I disliked next week. I smiled, telling her everything was perfect before pointing over to her massive bookshelf. She said she read them to kill time. Curiously, I pulled down a flashy romance novel and waved it right in her face. Reading the cheesy title aloud, I watched her eyes dart away as she realized what I was holding. I teased her, asking if she only married her childhood sweetheart because she filled her head with these cheesy stories. I jokingly warned her it would rot her brain, but her face instantly flushed red as she snatched the book away and hid it. My bad, I'll stop talking. Looks like Captain Jiang is actually getting annoyed. She reminded me I read novels back in elementary school, but I quickly shot back that those were just comic books. That left her completely speechless. After checking out the rest of the house, I finally slumped back onto the living room couch. Figuring I'd play a quick game, she asked what it was. When I said Honor of Kings, she teased that gaming ruined my love life. Actually, I really owe you one. If we didn't get married, my parents would still be forcing me onto miserable blind dates. But when I thanked her for saving me and proposed we get along, she abruptly stood up, claimed she was tired, and left. Talk about a sudden mood swing. I managed to call out a quick goodnight before she quietly shut her bedroom door. Bored out of my mind, I unlocked my phone. But get this, it wasn't even 8 in the evening yet. Seriously, who goes to bed this early? But the next morning, I woke up around 6 and found her already busy in the kitchen. She was happily cooking breakfast. I offered to help, but she just smiled and wished me a good morning. Scooping some fresh porridge, she told me to just sit down and relax while she handled it. Staring at the table, I realized these were the exact same meals we shared back in school. She actually remembered my favorites. I suggested that if she was going to cook, I should do the dishes, or we could just take turns every other day. Even though I offered my decent cooking skills, she instantly rejected the idea, claiming it was no hassle. She insisted I sleep in more, pointing out that the dishwasher would easily take care of all the dirty plates. Saying nothing, I couldn't help but wonder if she was being too perfect. It was starting to make me feel like a total freeloader. Heading out, I offered to wait for her after work. No need, she replied immediately. She said there was no need to drive separately, advising me to eat alone since her medical shifts were always highly unpredictable. Pointing to the entrance, she told me to grab the spare keys, and I quietly nodded as she left. So this is day 1 of our married life. Honestly, we don't feel any different from 2 polite roommates sharing an apartment. When I arrived at the hospital around 8:30, the emergency room was surprisingly quiet, which is normal for a morning shift. It stayed peaceful until lunch, which is exactly when my close buddy Guanji decided to slide into my messages. Guanji starts bragging to me, Chen, about running into an absolute stunner. I ask if his work is going bad, but he says no. He went out on a photo shoot and got chewed out by a cop. I ask if he ran a red light, but he says no, she was just directing traffic there. He says he only rolled down his window for some fresh air when she caught him without a seatbelt. I tell him she was only doing her job. He admits it was his own fault, but insists that the female officer was incredibly pretty. Honestly, getting lectured by her felt pretty embarrassing. He seriously regrets not wearing his damn seatbelt because she definitely has a terrible impression of him now. Then Guanji suddenly changes the subject, asking me about the flash marriage I had with my childhood friend a while ago. He mentions that the officer who pulled him over was called Captain Ji-young by her colleagues. Wait, Captain Ji-young? The smile on my face instantly freezes. Oh, this is going to be incredibly awkward. I immediately shoot him a text to meet up for some barbecue so I can explain the whole situation. That evening, I drive over to his photography studio. I wait until dinner time, and then we head straight to our usual barbecue joint. He asks if dragging him out like this means I am about to ask him for a favor. He asks how we impulsively got married when Jang Won and I haven't seen each other in over 10 years. I just shrug. Both our parents approved, and neither of us has the time to take things slow. We just didn't want to waste time playing the dating game. So we just decided to move in together. He asks if that means we had absolutely zero feelings before tying the knot. Are we compatible? He asks. Well, nobody is perfect. But after living together, she is actually pretty great. Every single day, she leaves some warm food waiting for me at home. I then take the opportunity to tell him about the time I rode my e-bike without wearing a helmet. How Jang-won recognized me and deliberately pulled me over just to give me a hard time. He laughs, calling her a stunning beauty with a sharp tongue that only I could handle. After dinner, we take a casual stroll together. By the time I finally get back home, it is already past midnight. I pull out my phone only to realize the battery died and it shut off. I grab my keys and push the front door open. The house is pitch black because of an unexpected power outage in the building. I carefully grope my way toward the bedroom to find a power bank. Just as I reach the bed, a rustling sound. It comes from the dark corner. My heart stops. I violently throw whatever is in my hand toward the sound as some unknown flying creature suddenly lunges straight at me. Talk about a horror movie moment. I sprint out, lock the door, and hear something constantly crashing against it from the inside. Right at that moment, I hear the front door opening. Jiang Wan is finally home from work. Turning on her phone flashlight in the dark, she immediately spots me staring intently at the locked bedroom door. She asks why the power is out and what I am doing. Seeing her, my tense nerves finally relax. An unknown flying thing is in the bedroom, the power is out, and my phone is dead. I couldn't check the breaker in the dark, so I just waited for her. She asks if I was scared and offers to check the breaker. No way. I refuse to let her go alone while I just hold the light. In the deep darkness, I can't see her blushing face. Guiding ourselves by the dim moonlight, she nods, and I flip the trip breaker back up. The entire house instantly lights up, and both of us cautiously look around the room. Looking up, we spot a bat hanging upside down from the ceiling lamp. I suggest calling for help because that wild thing is probably covered in bacteria. She opens the window, saying a bat in the house actually brings good fortune. She says they can't kill it, plus her colleagues would absolutely roast her if they knew a police captain called for backup over a bat. Telling me not to worry since she is totally used to this, she heads off to cook. She tells me to disinfect the room instead. Then, Jiang Wan heads straight into the kitchen to whip up 2 steaming bowls of noodles. Once they are ready, she notices I'm not eating and asks if I already had dinner tonight. I explain that I grabbed barbecue with my high school friend Guanji, mentioning that he was actually the guy she pulled over for not wearing a seatbelt. Jiang Wan lowers her head, thinks for a second, then says it's fine. She notes they'll probably cross paths again. Then, she asks why I suddenly brought up getting our marriage license in the car before we tied the knot. She wonders if my reason was truly the same as hers, just being too lazy to date. I ask what else it could be, teasingly asking if she thought I'd been secretly in love with her. She instantly says no, calling me brother. Getting called brother by my own wife makes my hair stand on end. What was she even thinking? I quickly get up and bolt back to my room. For the entire next week, I deliberately schedule myself for night shifts, coming back at 5 or 6 in the morning. I would drag my exhausted body home from work, barely catching Jang Wan, fully dressed and ready to head out. Our schedules constantly clashed. We lived in the same massive house, yet we barely ever crossed paths. On regular days, our only connection was the lunch boxes she left in the fridge and simple handwritten sticky notes. Just like that, Friday arrived. She wrote, "Are you still working the graveyard shift tonight?" Jang Wan sat at her desk looking pretty gloomy, while her coworker Zhu Sheng easily read her mind and kept teasing her. "Since your favorite doctor is always so swamped, why not just go drop by and see him at 5 a.m.? Working that brutal overnight shift left me completely drained, both physically and mentally. Stepping down the hospital stairs, I spotted Jang Wan waiting quietly by the curb. I quickly jogged over. Did you stay up working overtime all night too? Yeah. I was actually on duty right across the street, so I decided to swing by and get you. Give me your car keys. She told me to sit back and rest. Those back-to-back all-nighters suddenly hit me like a massive wave. Almost the second I sat down in the passenger seat, my head leaned back and I drifted off. Once we pulled up to the apartment and staggered inside, I stumbled toward the bedroom. Jang-won gently helped me clean up a bit, then stood by my bedside watching over me for a long time before leaving. When I woke up the next morning, I tossed the blanket aside and spotted a fluffy cotton candy on my nightstand right next to a small, elegant box of strawberry cake. Jang-won was leaning against the doorframe, saying she just happened to pass by a sweet shop and grabbed them. You were literally talking about cotton candy in your sleep yesterday, so I grabbed both. Come on, let me feed you a bite. Just take a bite. Jang-won blushed deeply as she pinched off a piece of the sweet fluff. I smiled and stretched lazily. Finally, a rare day off with absolutely no shifts. How does Captain Jang want to spend it? Let's go hit the mall. I thought we were just getting a few basic things for the house, but get this, she had a totally different plan. Jang-won went on an absolute shopping spree just for me. From sleek jackets to casual sneakers, we ended up hauling 8 massive bags. I did not know whether to laugh or cry. I honestly thought I was the one keeping you company today. Why did we buy an entire wardrobe for me instead? She replied, remember the day you moved in? Your clothes were everywhere. You barely had any outfits, so I figured I should stock up on some essentials to make your daily life a bit easier. Walking past a high-end boutique, I realized just how incredibly well she had been looking after me over the past few days. Since she always cares for me, I wanted to pick out a nice thank you gift. Pretending to be super thirsty, I sent Jang-won off to grab us some drinks, leaving me completely alone in the luxury boutique to browse. I settled on a sleek, classic black leather belt. Since she is an officer, she can't wear flashy jewelry to work anyway. When Jang-won returned a few minutes later, I smoothly slipped the wrapped gift box behind my back. Later that evening, I hesitated for a while before finally calling Jang-won into my bedroom. I have a little thank you gift for you. She opened the box. Her fingers gently traced the smooth leather of the belt. So you purposely sent me away to get milk tea earlier, huh? Just to sneakily buy this. I smiled. You always have to wear a belt on duty, so I figured it was practical. It is something you will actually use. Jang-won lifted the belt against her waist. Chen, do you know what it means when couples gift each other belts? I just thought it was practical. Wait, does it actually have a meaning? It means you want to tie down their heart, binding yourselves together. I stuttered. I really did not know that. It was just a simple gift. I had absolutely zero hidden motives. Jang-won chuckled softly. I'm only teasing you. I truly love it. You must be exhausted from walking around all day, so get some sleep. I still have to pull a shift, so I am heading out. After Jang-won slipped out of the room, I flopped onto my back, my mind completely spinning in a chaotic mess. Since we grew up together, I had always just viewed her as that chubby little sister who loved eating bean buns. But living under the same roof, every single time we got close, my heart would start racing absolutely out of control. Had I seriously developed romantic feelings for my childhood best friend? I tossed and turned, completely unable to sleep until the dead of night. Suddenly, an emergency alert flashed in the emergency room group chat, a massive pileup on the highway. Oh, this is going to be bad. Victims were flooding into the hospital, and the emergency team was critically short-handed to handle the chaos. Wait, could this be?